Hi guys, welcome to another video. It's Ndagire here. This is a video that I want to mostly dedicate to African people because I saw majority of Africans that were in support of the elections that happened in the US, and they were happy about Trump winning. And everyone has their own opinion, right? So today I have something that I wish African people should understand. This is a person that is a white man, right? And he's always going to do things that are for white people because, they still want to be in power, right? And so he came out and literally threatened to put sanctions and tariffs on BRICS nations that are trying to run away from the US dollar because the world has to move around the dollar. So every country that wants to join the BRICS is now against the US laws. If that makes sense. But yeah, guys, listen to these videos and tell me what you think about it.
Donald Trump has threatened the BRICS countries and have said that he will impose a 100% tariff on any country that aligns with BRICS and abandons the US dollars. He also went on to say that any country that abandons the US dollars will no longer be able to do business with the United States. And he also said that he wants a written guarantee from every single country that they will not abandon the US dollar. It's exactly threats like these why the rest of the world need a new financial system and maybe even a reserve currency that is completely independent of the United States' control. Such threats from Trump or the United States also no longer work. For example, the threat of tariff only works when you have domestic production that is capable of being a good substitute to the goods that you want to tariff coming in from the rest of the world. But of course, we know that the United States basically has no manufacturing capability and relies heavily on the goods that come from all of these BRICS countries. There's actually a way where Trump can nullify the threat of the BRICS. All it would take for the United States is to make sure that they stop weaponizing the dollar and do not impose sanctions on any country that disagrees with them, and the threat of the BRICS would disappear overnight.
It's actually funny, seeing the US put tariffs on countries or wanting to threaten BRICS countries with tariffs when they are the countries that actually produce things that are sold in the US, because clearly the US does not have production. And people are always like telling me, oh, you are African, why are you concerned with American things? Guys, this is why I am concerned, because everything that moves around the world is mostly traded in dollars, right? So if anything happens within the US, it's going to affect African countries because we have like no choice in some way. So the fact that the BRICS is coming in and wants like those countries within the BRICS to back their currencies or the things they have with their resources, it takes away the US power because, what do they have? They only have a paper. They don't have resources, guys. Let's be serious. And for a person like Donald Trump wanting to, like, as I said, put like sanctions on, let's say, African countries when we are the ones that give them the raw materials for them to produce things, is funny. It's funny. It's like they have no option, and the only way or the only thing they are used to is threatening other countries for them to feel powerful. But then when it comes to paper, when it comes to reality, the US really has nothing to offer to the world. And if African countries really stop within trading or with the dollar, guys, I promise you the US is going to be in shambles. And so they need to like now start to threaten African countries. And this is why I really emphasize that we need to look into our leaders as African people and see that these people are doing things that are better for us. Because tell me why we are the ones with the resources, but we still have to listen to someone who has nothing and just gives us a paper. Like, make it make sense. But yeah, guys, listen to what other people had to say.
I saw President Donald Trump talking about the imposing tariff on the BRICS countries that are trying to create an alternate currency that will bypass the United States dollar on international transactions. And I believe that was a very, very, very wrong approach. This was the same mindset that the US have that now keep imposing on countries that led to the complete degeneration and the downward spiral that the US has been recording for the past 50 years. Go back to a little bit of a history. After the First World War in 1914, the world went into a series of economic upheavals. Of course, we have the Bolshevik Revolution in 1917, and then we have a lot of crises that the world went into Great Depression from 1929 to the point whereby by 1933, the US government then used to have their own reserve in gold. So many of the rich class in the US and even the middle class used to save their reserve in gold. So because of the Great Depression, people are rushing to cash out on their gold reserve. So they are depleting the gold reserve at the fastest rate to the point whereby it's threatening to crash the United States economy. So what President Roosevelt said that time was calling for a banking holiday, shutting down the entire banks of the United States, no deposit, no withdrawal for the period of 1 week. They called that period banking holiday. After 1 week and the coming back of the banking holiday, they decided to say that nobody again is going to cash his own gold, but rather whatever amount of gold you have, you are now going to go with 35 ounce. $35 for an ounce of gold. So if you have the gold reserve in the US, you have to keep that gold reserve in exchange for you to just take dollars. So they will print dollar and substitute for the gold reserve in order to continue to save the United States. Then, of course, people like Germany refused, and that was what, even to some degree, economically, that's the economic reasons why you now have the Second World War. A lot of devastating effect took place, and the US came in and became the general victor now, together with, of course, the Soviet Union and China, France, and the UK. So they became the P5, the five Security Council members of the United Nations, because they are the victors of the Second World War. So a Bretton Woods institution was roughly set up, and that institution that was in the US, where you take for 35 ounces of gold, for 35 ounces of gold, you take $1. What they did now was to globalize it using the Bretton Woods institutions. So you can deposit your gold reserve, in exchange of $35 to an ounce of gold. And that's what they did. Then, the depletion of the gold reserve because of the mistrust in the US economy due to the war in Korean Wars, due to the Vietnamese War, some countries of the global north stopped believing in the capacity of the US to take control of their gold reserve. So they started to demand for their gold reserve. One of such countries is France, under Charles de Gaulle. In fact, Charles de Gaulle have to dispatch the military warship to go to the US in their effort to evacuate their gold reserve. Looking at all these challenges that they are facing as at that time, President Nixon decided to say to hell with every other person. Either you collect the gold, either you collect dollars in exchange for your gold, but you can never get the gold back again. And that's why we now, the so-called energy began to substitute for gold. That's how you now give birth to petrodollar. So subsequently, the petrodollar itself, when you look at the BRICS, the BRICS countries control almost 20% of the global economy and nearly 45% of global energy reserve. And this energy reserve, especially petro, is what has been balancing the dollar. Now that the BRICS countries are in total control of the energy reserves, what balances the dollar is only fiat. That's why they call it fiat currency, printing money out of thin air without any intrinsic value. The dollar itself has no intrinsic value. It's just printing press. It's like sitting in the Federal Reserve, you print dollars, and then you come to countries in Africa and buy all their properties by a printed currency. And that's how US has been operating. So, but again, the whole world, because of the trust that they have had in the international systems and the institution governing the operationalization of the dollar, they decided to still continue to manage with the fiat currency system until the US started weaponizing the dollar. And what they do is to impose sanctions on countries. Provided you don't agree with some of their policies, they will now shut you out of the dollar, using the same institution that the global system trusted, especially the SWIFT system. They decided to sanction Iran, in fact, during Obama era, by taking them out of the SWIFT system. And on the coming of the special military operations of Russia, they decided to also take out Russia in all the institutions that allowed them to trade in dollar. And the Russians decided to start moving to create alternative financial and settlement system away from the dollar. By doing so, Russian economy started growing beyond what the world has ever imagined, to the point whereby Russia became now the fourth largest economy in the world and the largest economy in Europe without trading in dollars. And that has substantiated the fact that provided you have commodities of intrinsic value, you have energy, you have mineral resources, you have agricultural commodities that the global system demands, you don't really need dollars to trade with other countries. And that is what forms the idea of the alternative currency that the BRICS is trying to set up. Most of these alternative systems are going to be backed by commodities of countries. And if that happened, countries or continents like Africa are going to be rich because we are the richest when it comes to natural resources and commodities. So it means that countries in the global south like Africa are going to have a very strong impact in the global system, and they are going to escape poverty. This was proven by the sanctions that took place against Russia in March 2022. It means that without dollar, most of the countries of the global south are actually better off. So what Trump is trying to do is to shut down the instrument of United States power. And all the military bases that they have and the budget that they have in the name of trying to still maintain the hegemony of dollar, when you look at the 600 billion, 700 billion, 800 billion dollars of budget that they have in their own defense spending, most of it are inflated. They are all lies, you know. You find out that one single military boot that you can buy for $100, when you check the budget of the US, you find out that it's about $3,500, and that's what they are budgeting. So it's inflated budget for the Congress, for the corrupt system in the US to take over this money, similar to the way it's happening in several countries. So if Donald Trump is trying to do that, he's trying to further shut down the entire global south away from the dollar, thereby encouraging and incentivizing their move away from the dollar and grow, similar to the way it's been exemplified by Russia, by China, and by India. So that was a very strong mistake. And I think the global south should welcome this development. If Trump is going to sanction all other countries on 100% tariff, by all means, let them not trade with the US. And I think they will be better off because it has been proven with Russia, it's been proven with India, and it's proven with China.
Fellow Africans, today I'm calling out Donald Trump. Yes, the same guy that some of you celebrated after he won. I'm calling him out as he reveals his true colors with words so arrogant, so condescending, that they should send shockwaves across the continent. Donald Trump, the so-called champion of the downtrodden, has just declared economic warfare against Africa's allies and aspirations. BRICS, an alliance supported by many African nations, dares to challenge the dominance of the US dollar, and Trump's response is economic blackmail, 100% tariffs, goodbye to the US, goodbye to the US economy, and calling BRICS countries suckers. Does that sound like the friend you thought he was? The Democrats' policies towards Africa aren't any better. It's just that some of you assumed that Trump was better. Now, let me be clear, Donald Trump is no ally of Africa. He is the latest face of an unchanging US agenda, a neo-colonial mindset that sees our continent not as partners but as pawns. Such rhetoric exposes his disdain for the very principles many Africans support: economic independence, multipolarity, and freedom from the chokehold of the US dollar. Fellow Africans, if this doesn't make you question your loyalty to Trump, what will? It's time to stop glorifying foreign leaders and start holding our own accountable. Trump won't save us. Biden won't save us. No American president will. The policies of the US towards Africa, whether under Republicans or Democrats, are retrogressive and self-serving. They always have been and always will be. Instead of idolizing Trump or any foreign leader, we should focus on electing and supporting transformative African presidents.
We must begin implementing some things. Elections. Presidential elections in this country are a mess. Not because the constitution wants them to be a mess, but because the politicians on both sides because they want to steal, they want them to be a mess.
Leaders who will stand up for African sovereignty, push for policies that empower our people, and actively engage with the global south on our terms. And let's not stop there. Let's hold each and every one of these leaders accountable. Our fight is not for a seat at the Western table or any foreign table. Let us build our own table. Let us rise together for Africa, for justice, and for a future that is truly ours. And remember, no foreign leader will save us. Only we, the people of Africa, can save Africa.
The truth is always going to be like Africans need to understand. We need to understand no white person is going to come and save us, whether they are from the Republic or the Democratic Party in the USA, guys. No one is going to come and save African people. They all want to be in power so they can control what is going on within the continent. Like, guys, look at when Biden or Obama were in power. They are from the Democratic Party, right? Gaddafi was put down. There is a lot of war that is going on within the African countries, and these are the people that we expected, cared for black people. Let's say nothing changed. So why would you expect a person from the Republican or Republic, side to now come in and save you African people, or like do better things for you African people? Like it's like different faces, but it's the same agenda, and that's what we need to understand. And that's why we really need to take accountability and call out our own leaders that are selling us off every single day. Like I always say that, because without them selling us, we would be like in a different place. Because I mean, look at China, look at Russia. These people are patriotic. They love their countries. They really they work hard to see their countries win. And it's different than in the African continent, which is really disappointing. Like you look into it and you're like, oh my God, this is crazy. But yeah, guys, really, that is it for me in the video. Like, do you think this is gonna work? Like, is Trump tripping, or he's on a serious thing that is going like really work of be put in place like to threaten African countries and for us to just bend and kneel and listen? Yeah, guys, that is it for me in the video. Let me know what you think about this. Thanks for watching. Yeah, thanks for the subscribers, the super chats, and welcome to the new month, guys. It's December, so very exciting. Yeah, that is it, guys. I'll see you in another video.